Can a homosexual be truly delivered from same-sex attraction? We understand that Jesus can deliver you from acting out on that temptation, but do the attractions and do the feelings towards someone of the same sex ever really go away? And so because this isn't something that I have personally dealt with in my life, instead what I want to do is I want to highlight a few clips from some people that were in that lifestyle that the Lord has delivered them from. And I want you to hear from them as it relates to whether these feelings of same-sex attraction actually go away. And so I've got a few clips. One of the clips is from a guy that I interviewed not too long ago named Christopher YUAN'S, and he has an amazing ministry, and I'm going to link the entire video to that interview down in the description below. I'll put a card somewhere on the screen. And then another is from, well, you'll see if you watch this video. Check it out. What does deliverance look like? Because, you have a lot of people that will say that, hey, deliverance looks like now I have same-sex attraction, or opposite sex attraction, right? I used to be attracted to men, but now God has delivered me and I no longer have any of those attractions at all. All the memories are faded out and now I have attraction for women. But can you talk a little bit about, if you don't mind me asking, and this is kind of a personal question, but, do you, even now at 51, do you ever struggle? Do you ever have thoughts? Do you ever have attractions? Do you ever have memories or flashbacks of the life that you used to live? Or if you, I don't know, if you see someone that you think is attractive, has God just removed those desires completely? Or is it something that you have to daily kind of surrender to the Lord?
Yeah. Alan, the best thing for us to, when we frame our questions, is realizing it's the gospel behind it. And so oftentimes when people ask me this, I say, let me step back, because we need to realize what's the true diagnosis. If this was a health problem, a disease, maybe a virus or cancer, we diagnose that correctly. The Bible is really clear that same-sex relationships is sinful behavior. What's the cause of that? And when we realize that this is a sin problem, a spiritual problem, it's a sin problem that affects our sin nature and affects our behavior, our thoughts. And so then we need to put this in light also as well of all Christians. This isn't just a problem for individuals who have same-sex attraction. So, you're exactly right, Alan, framing this, that, these things, how do we think about deliverance in a biblical way? How do we think about transformation? What is conversion? Is conversion simply, man, I was in sinful behavior and now I'm a Christian and poof, no more problems. I don't have any struggles, any temptations.
Right.
We see that Christians are tempted. As a matter of fact, the writer of Hebrews says, Jesus Christ was tempted in every way.
Yet without
Yet he was without sin. So being tempted is not the same thing as giving in to temptation. Jesus was tempted for 40 days in the wilderness, but he resisted sin. Jesus is the only one that resisted fully to the end, where we give in too soon. So with that right context to understand this, the answer to this question is a sin problem for all Christians. All Christians are tempted. We all will be tempted. And the matter is not whether you are tempted or if you're tempted, but when you're tempted. And not even whether you're tempted, but what you do with that temptation. How you respond. So real transformation and deliverance and conversion is, like I said before, I was lost and now I'm found. I was a slave to sin and now I'm a slave to Christ, the only good Lord to be a slave, a servant to. And so thinking about that tells us that, man, forever on this, not forever, but as long as I'm on this side of glory, I'm going to wrestle with my sin nature. It's until I'm the other side of glory that then I'm going to be free from this nature of sin. And I'm going to not have to or not anymore struggle with that. But on this side of glory, we will. So we will all be tempted. I do believe that God can take away this struggle, but I will still have my sin nature, and I will still need to fight temptation and resist sin, whether it might be opposite sex lust, or whether it is pride or dissension or hatred or a slew of the other sins that we all wrestle with as human beings.
Yeah. What was that process like to undo the feelings that you had? Because I imagine hearing that call didn't automatically remove those feelings all at once.
They're still not removed.
Jackie Hill Perry, what you said? I didn't know you was gonna say that. What you mean? You still got them feelings for them women?
Because I feel the need to make that a point, because another problematic assumption that people bring into all their conversations with those who are same-sex attracted is that to come to Jesus means that you will be straight, that you will not experience the temptations that come with being whoever it is that you call yourself to be. But that implies that to be a Christian is to not have temptation. Yet we serve a God who is tempted in all respects, yet without sin. And so how are you telling me that to be like Christ means that I won't struggle? That's nowhere in the Bible. And so I say all that to say, when I felt the Lord calling me to himself, I was just like, all right, I don't really want to be straight though. This is what I told God in my conversation with him in my room. And I felt like God was saying, like, don't even worry about all that. Like, come, I'm calling you to me. I want you to love me. I want you to serve me, and we'll work all of that out. And so initially it was very hard because I was in a relationship with my girlfriend at the time, and I loved her and I enjoyed her. And there was a real intimacy and a real love that we had for one another that I then had to let go in an effort to honor God as best that I could. But that didn't mean that the attractions went away. It just meant that I had to find somewhere to put them. You know, I had to really believe God when he said that he is a great high priest, that I could come to his throne of grace for help in my time of need. And I'm just one of those kinds of people that I've come to recognize that my time of need is always. And so I'm always needing to go to his throne of grace. So I think that's one of the things that I've just come to see is that, man, temptation as it is expressed in being same-sex attracted may not ever change for me. I am a woman who is married to a man, functionally heterosexual, love him, I like him, I enjoy him, yet at the same time, I'm still very much attracted to women. Yet I love God more than what I am tempted by. And so because of that, I am willing to disregard and suppress, which the Bible tells me to do, not suppress the truth, but suppress my sinful nature, because I just believe that it honors God. That's countercultural, but that's all right.
No, that is because, okay, so gay people in the church are not new, and people who used to be gay are not new. Right. However, it's always, in my experience, it's always been, and God took the feeling away, and now I don't see it no more.
Right.
And you are saying, no, actually, sundress season is tough for me too. Guys are trouble. I'm having trouble. You know?
Correct.
So never, you know, this is why I'm so glad to talk to you, because that to me is a more realistic feeling, right? I feel like the God took it away, and that's a lot of things. God, I used to be an alcoholic. God took away the taste. I used to smoke cocaine. Now I only blow my nose. God took it away, and you're like, no, actually, it's still there. I do struggle, and I always feel like truth in our walk and how difficult our walk is much more of a testimony of God's love than a great narrative.
Come on here.
Because people, you know, we all struggle. I tell people all the time, they say, Kevin, you're such a great husband. I know you would never cheat on Melissa. You don't know that.
Yeah. Hello.
You know that. I work hard to not give myself the opportunity. Yeah. When I'm on the road, I go from my hotel to the venue, back to the venue to my hotel, the airport. Nobody knows where I stay. I don't hang with people. It's because I don't trust myself. I don't get drunk and then be like, oh, snap, I don't know, I might make a mistake. Like, but I'm still a man who sees other women. I'm not like, well, I am now married and Meg Thee Stallion does not exist. I've never, I don't I never seen her go, I didn't watch BET Awards. I didn't see nothing. Jesus for the season, and I never see no other butts. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like what you just said is that version of, no, yes, I still struggle. But in my struggle, God is there.
Yeah.
And to me, like, that is just so much more attainable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's reality. Because do you know how many people that have been turned off from Christianity and God and the church because they were told, if you come to God, you will be straight. So when they come to God and they see that they're still tempted, their conclusion is, God is not with me. I am not saved. I am not Christian, because they've equated Christianity with sinlessness. And that is not biblical. And so when you actually tell people that, no, coming to Jesus does mean that you'll have power to flee sin, but that does not mean that you won't struggle with sin, that actually sets up realistic expectations that, man, to be in the faith does mean that I will struggle, yet I have hope. I have encouragement from the scriptures and from the prophets and from the Psalms and from the Spirit and from the church that I can persevere if I trust God enough to do so. To me, that sounds like Bible.
Okay, so the prevailing view here seems to be that, yes, it is possible that the Lord can deliver a person who is engaging in same-sex attraction and engaging that lifestyle from acting out on it. But unfortunately, it is rare that the Lord actually completely 100% removes those feelings, those attractions, and God forbid the memory of all the different things that you've been involved with in that particular lifestyle, which is one of the reasons why I strongly encourage anyone who might be watching this video and you are tempted to act out on same-sex attraction. Let me just speak to you specifically. Listen, once you go down that road and you start engaging in that lifestyle, it is rare that people actually go through the rest of their life and not feel some sort of desire for the same sex. And God forbid, they can't get rid of all the images and all the memories and different things that they did whenever they were in that lifestyle. So I want to plead with you to, even if you're having those attractions, that you don't act out on it and you talk to somebody very, very soon, because it could very alter the trajectory of the rest of your life. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you know somebody that's struggling with this, please pass this video on to them and hopefully they find value in it. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.